Okay, for those of you who are solving by hand, remember we have to follow the steps. Step number 1 is to distribute. Okay, distribute anything that's outside the parentheses. For instance, right here would be a -2. And right, where's my -1? There's one where you're distributing a -1. Right here, you are distributing a -1. Okay, distribute means to multiply, so that's what we're doing first. Step number 2, separate the variables and the constants. So move the variables to one side and the constants to the other side. Separate variables and constants. Okay? Once they're on different sides, then you can combine like terms. So step number 3, combine like terms. And step number 4 is always to divide or multiply. So we're going to solve for the variable. All right, but when we're doing inequalities, keep in mind that when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you need to flip the sign. So for this one, they are dividing by a negative number. So the symbol had to flip, okay? And Desmos will automatically do that for you if you're graphing them. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do problem number 1. Problem number 1, we need to distribute the -2. So that's bring the 18x down. -2 times 7x is a -14x. -2 times 3 is a -6. Bring down the equal sign and the -38. Step number 2, move the variables to one side and the numbers to the other side. I already have my variables on the left side, so all I need to do is move this over here and change the sign to +6. Change the sign. Combine like terms. 18x minus 14x is 4x equals -38 plus 6 is what? -32. Okay. These two are multiplying, so divide both sides by 4. X equals -8. Okay, if we put that in Desmos, the left side goes in y equals and the right side goes in y equals. If you forget to put y equals, it may not graph it. Okay, so in Desmos, we're graphing the left side, which is y equals 18x minus 2 parentheses 7x plus 3 close parentheses. Y equals the right side, which is -38. Okay, so you go look where they cross. And it's the x part of it, so that was -8. What happens when they don't cross? Look at number 3. If I put that in y equals, okay, y equals, these two lines, even if I zoom out, are never going to cross. What is that called? When they never cross? No solution. Okay, they're never going to cross, so it has no solution. A solution is where they cross. So this one never crosses. They're parallel lines. Means no solution. Okay. Problem number 4, put that one in Desmos. What happens when they're the same line? Okay, when you put it in y equals, This is my blue line. This is my green line. Blue, green. They're the same line. So how many points? Look at how many points it touches. All those points are touching the same line. What is that called? Infinite solutions. Okay, when it's one line on top of another line, that's called infinite solutions. And we saw it on Friday. It has another name for it. What's that other name? All real solutions. That means it has all of the solutions. Okay, so what is the difference between equal sign and an inequality sign? What do I do when I see these? Do I put it in y equals? Or do I put the whole thing together? Hello? The whole thing together. When you see this sign, all of it goes together. When you see this sign, you separate them. Y equals left side, Y equals right side. You don't do that with this. So for number 5, type the whole thing in Desmos. Type the whole thing in Desmos, just like that. When you put the whole thing in here, which way, first of all, you have to click on that point. That's going to be your answer, the -9. But which way is it shading? To the left or to the right? To the left. So if I draw a number line, watch this. If I draw a number line, which way was it shading? This way or this way? It was to the left. So this is the symbol I'm going to use. Was that the symbol I started with? No. That means if you solved by hand, you ended up dividing by a negative, so you had to flip the sign. So this is the symbol that we're going to use. It's going to be x less than -9. Okay, I want you to do the same thing for number 6. So pause the video, do number 6, and then I'll do number 7 and 8 with you. Okay, so you should have finished number 6 by now. Number 7 is asking to solve for b. So b is multiplying by 1/2 and by h. How do I get rid of the 1/2? You're going to multiply by 2 because that's the reciprocal. The reciprocal is 2/1. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 so that it goes away. Okay, so what's 2 times a? 2a equals bh. Now, how do I leave the b by itself? What do I do with the h? Divide. Okay, you have to divide to get rid of it. So you're going to divide both sides by h to get rid of the h. And that leaves you b equals 2a over h. So 2a over h equals b. And that's what you would look for as one of the answers. On number 8, it's a little bit different because now you're solving for x and there's a -3w that you have to get rid of. So first move the -3w to the other side. Change the sign, okay, from minus to plus. So now I have y plus 3w. You have to change the sign. Equals 7x. How do I solve for x? Divide both sides by 7. Okay, so you could leave it like that. That's probably one of your answers. Or you can go ahead and reduce it even more. This is a 1. So 1 divided by 7 is 1 over 7y. And 3 divided by 7 is 3 over 7w. So also look for that answer. You could have one of the two. You can either have this one as one of the answers or you can have this as one of the answers. So make sure you look for both. Once you finish everything, we're going to do a quizzes today, so I will post the code on the board. And if you don't finish or you want to redo your grade, I have the code in the calendar so that you can do that at home or after school. Do not use the code in the calendar to do the work in class.